Good morning, you guys. You guys are always getting me first thing in the morning. Like, I literally roll out of bed and get hit with these epiphanies, and then you get hit with the videos, which my Uncle Mike's always like, can you put some makeup on? I'm like, they know what I look like. It's fine. No, he loves me no matter what. It's just a funny joke we have between ourselves. You guys, I had a big epiphany and I want to share it. And I'm nervous to share it. And I don't know how this is going to go. So just kind of bear with me here, okay? Obviously, many of you know that I went out of the country, my wife and I, and we spent some time in France and in England, and it was really lovely. And the epiphany I had was not an us against them. It wasn't, America versus Europe or anything like that. I got out of the ethos of the United States for 10 days. 10 days, you guys. And it was unreal. The feeling of implied heaviness. Now, this is really important that you stay with me through this, okay? The implied heaviness that I was carrying with me as an American person when I was in Europe, I didn't know. I mean, I knew I kind of had it here, but I didn't really feel it until I was out of the culture that was trying to inspire me to be upset all the time. And that was wildly eye-opening. Now, I know that we all know that we are in some weird times here in the United States. I mean, to cut the bullshit, we have a guy that got bought in and whatever, and placed in office who doesn't really see America in the same way that most of us do. Because his life is different than most of our lives. I think we can honestly say that that Donald Trump, his life is different than my life, right? And so he's going to have a different way of looking at things when somebody goes through their life and they never have consequences enacted on them. And Donald never has. He's been able to buy his way out, and as most people of his ilk can do. And because he has never had individual consequences, he has a recklessness to him. And this is not about Donald Trump, by the way, this awareness that I had. But what I am observing is that the same recklessness that Donald Trump has, because he's never had consequences, that's a recklessness that I think if we were to just, again, going to cut the shit here, I think if we were to look at it, a lot of Americans truly wish they had that kind of freedom to do whatever the hell they wanted, say whatever they wanted, get away with whatever they wanted. And so a lot of people see Donald Trump as a hero, because I don't believe that they are necessarily seeing the long-term impact that this individual has on the world and our country. I think a lot of people are projecting their own, God, I wish I had that freedom to be this guy who just seems so fearless. And the problem with that is this, guys, and this is where the realization comes in here. The problem with that is that when you travel in other parts of the world and you feel the freedom that is there, as opposed to when you come back to the United States, there is this need to put us into cattle chutes. Now, if you're not somebody who is an agricultural person, I'm not really an agricultural person, but I live in agricultural America out here in Montana. A cattle chute it's literally that. It's a really narrow pen, and when you're loading cattle onto trucks, you run them through these little chutes. And in America, there is a massive movement to put us all in little cattle chutes, to go up in our little trucks and load us up into our prospective locations. And once we're corralled into our little trucks, then we can be sold things through our fear and our believing that the people in the truck next to us suck, okay? And the thing, hi Rachel, The thing that is so disturbing here, guys, is there is such a massive push in this country to get us corralled, and has been for years and years, into our little cattle chutes so that we don't look at the cows next to us and we don't realize we're going to the slaughter. We're just following the butt that's in front of us up into the truck. Moo, moo, moo. And we get into our little truck and then we're in with all the cows mooing just like we are. Moo, moo. We all moo the same way. Okay, oh, we're mooing. I feel safe in my little truck. But we're all going to the slaughterhouse, you guys. Now, I know that sounds a little creepy. But what I'm suggesting here is not that America is trying to kill us. I'm talking about a consciousness here. There are those in this country, guys, they're not Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. They're trying to keep us in our corrals so that we don't talk to each other based on how we vote. We don't talk to each other based on whether we like Palestine or we like, I don't know, Israel or whatever. They want to keep us in our chutes so we don't confer and say, God, don't we just all want a safe, lovely country where every person has an opportunity to thrive no matter who they are based on their own merit? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't hard work be great for all of us to find our purpose as humans and build a beautiful country where we are all valued and we are all given the same shot? And unfortunately, there are so many people, guys, who have been reined into these little cattle trucks, and the trucks get smaller and smaller. And pretty soon, good morning, Carol. Pretty soon we have this, these groups of trucks where people are so myopic that they can't see past the ass of the cow in front of them, guys. And that's most of America right now. And the realization that I had this morning that's going to be tough for a lot of us to hear is that we got to get out of the cattle trucks. We have to stop hating people because they vote differently than we do. We have to stop hating people because they may have a political stance overseas different than ours. We have to get out of the cattle trucks, guys, because if we don't, we all end up in the slaughterhouse. I don't know if you've ever been to a slaughterhouse. I've never been to an active slaughterhouse. I've been to evacuated slaughterhouses, which are horrible places. And what happens in a slaughterhouse is you go forward and the cows are not fed until they get there. So once you get there, the cows are put in these individual tiny little pens and they have a trough that's in front of them. And they put their head in the trough and then they lock their heads in the trough so the baby cows can't pull their heads backwards, but they're eating. And if it's a humane slaughterhouse, they give them some food. Well, this is not humane, but a more humane. They give them some food so that they can be distracted. And a guy comes along with a mechanism that goes on their forehead and drives a rod into their brain and kills them. So they're basically literally held up by their head as their dead body falls down. It breaks their neck. They've already had brain damage. And then they go through and clear the cattle out of the chutes, and they do it again and again and again. Now, I'm not suggesting that somebody's going to come along and lock our heads in a trough and shoot us in the head, okay? That's not the literal allegory I'm making. The allegory I'm making is that media-wise, is that, and this goes for everybody, guys. I don't care if you're watching Fox News. I don't care if you're watching MSNBC. I don't care if you're on Politico or you're on InfoWars. Personally, I'd watch out for the blogs that pretend to be news sites, but that's just me. We are being herded into areas to have our heads clipped like this to look at our food, while instead of shooting us in the head, it's like they're extracting our money. And I really felt this when I went to Europe. Now, I work in media, so this is a tough pill for me to swallow because a lot of my media folks are kind of sucked in. Well, I shouldn't say that. Well, no, they are. They're sucked into needing to put out content that will appease the sponsors. And that's across all networks. I mean, there are less bad networks. I mean, CBS is pretty in the middle. if you're talking American networks. But I mean, still in America, of course, we're going to rah-rah America and go American dream, and every country rah-rahs its own agenda to a point. But guys, we need to not be in the weeds on what I'm talking about here, okay? So what I'm asking everybody to do is to get up at 100,000 feet in a satellite view here and look at the world as a whole, because we're never going to agree with each other, ever. Okay, there are never going to be people on this planet entirely who believe that I have a right to marry my wife. The whole world is not going to just lay down and make a beautiful place for me to be. It is never going to be a case on the planet Earth where all religions just accept psychics. That's never going to happen, at least not in my lifetime, at least not in the next 500 years that I can see into the future. I don't need the world to believe I'm okay for me to be okay. What I do need the world to do is not oppress my rights to exist and be here and marry my wife and be a productive member of society and pay my taxes and all these things. That's what would be the most functional global society. Now, you know, I've been asking this of everybody since, God, when was it? 2008 maybe I came out with this originally. And maybe you're all sick of hearing it. And maybe I'm just an old woman whose message has had its day. Maybe the world has changed so much. Ooh, this makes me sad. That the message of having a larger view no longer has a place. And if that's true, that's not going to be a world that I care to partake in. I'm going to step out of that world and I'm going to create a different world. If that's really true, and I don't want to believe that's true, and I don't think that's true because I was just in Europe and it's not true there. I am not going to give up the idea that we in this nation can have a top view. I'm not going to do it. You can all stop listening to me. You can all unfriend my page. You can all not follow one more thing I ever do in my life. But I refuse to become something that I'm not. Just because there's this head locked in the trough media messaging that we're all on these little bitty tiny freaking trucks headed to our agendas. That is such bullshit, you guys. It's such bullshit. And the only way we get out of this crazy situation where we have this very insulated guy in the White House who is never going to see life like middle America because he's never had middle America's life. He has a life where he does what he wants and who cares? Like, this is a man who has no sense of consequence, guys. And do you know why I think the universe put him here? I'll tell you exactly why I think the universe put Donald Trump here. Because we cannot keep relying on a president to make our country great. We have to do this work, guys. Our complacency, our cherry picking of policies of, well, I want to believe Donald Trump here, but I don't want to believe him here because I've been conditioned to not believe what politicians say. Guys, Donald Trump is here as a lesson. He is not the end game. If we cannot get up to a 100,000 foot view and we cannot work together and we start believing that this message of heart unity, we're never going to have mind unity, guys, never, never. But we can have heart unity if we start believing this implied message from many, many sources, not just media, but it's pop culture. It's people online trying to gain followers by clickbait things that make people follow them. Guys, you know, we've got to get out of this. And we must choose to get out of this by stopping the propagation of the lies. And here are the following lies. Democrats want to ruin America. Republicans want to ruin America. Brown people want to ruin America. The LGBTQ community want to ruin America. Christians want to ruin America. Targeting is the problem, guys, okay? It is the problem. And I tell you what, we all do it because we've been conditioned to do it in this nation. We have been conditioned to other people. We have been conditioned to target the least of us, to dump all of our life inadequacies, things we haven't done for ourselves. We have been conditioned to pick someone else and dump that at their feet because we were too chicken shit to take the life path we wanted, marry the person we wanted, take the job we wanted. We're just too chicken shit and lazy in America because the people who have come before us have fought so hard to build a nation where we could relax, that we relaxed a little too much, you guys. And we've really allowed some sociopathic money-grubbing assholes to come forward and define who we are as Americans, and that's just not true. Listen, I have such dear friends who vote Republican. And let me tell you a little truth here. Some of these dear friends vote Republican because they really, truly are not aligned with what is really going on that national corporate level in both the Democratic and Republican parties. I mean, come on, you guys. What the hell, Democrats? What are you doing? Besides just sitting there going, oh, God, this has gotten really bad. Come on, y'all. I don't see one Democratic leader right now stepping up. Not one, not even you, Bernie. Get off your old ass. I don't see one Democratic leader right now stepping up to not blame. You know what, guys? We need leaders who stop blaming. We are so past blaming because we're all at fault on some level for where we're at. And guys, it's not about the fault. It's about learning from the past and our mistakes and about changing who we get to be going forward. This whole lesson of struggle, this whole lesson of collapsing world markets, this entire lesson of fear and seeing our citizens deported accidentally will go to waste if we don't realize that we have the power to change everything by changing our narrative with each other, by changing our narrative online. I am so sick and tired of where are the leaders coming forward to stop blaming and finger pointing so they can fundraise. It's gross. I am 56 years old. I was born into a world where women fought for the right to vote, where people fought to be able to marry people who were not the same color. I was born into a world where people were different, but we were going to work on understanding that there are a lot more differences than there are similarities, and we can create a similarity by just getting over the fact that someone may be different from us. Guess what? Everybody's different from you. I don't care how white you are or how Christian or how heterosexual. Deep down, you're a weirdo, and we all know it. We're all weirdos, baby. Welcome to the weirdo club, okay? We all know. Pop your hood and you're a weirdo too. We are divine. We are beautiful. We are a country of hope. Where are our leaders who are strong and courageous enough to not lay blame at someone else, but to come forward and empower you to be courageous in your community? God, I'm a Gen Xer, man. We were shit starters, and now I'm middle-aged, and I'm sitting around looking at these people who have all the political experience or all the corporate experience or all the leadership experience, and they just aren't showing up. I don't consider myself a leader, but by God, I will stand up for this. If nobody's going to speak for it, I will. Because I know that all of we Americans out there, most of us, there's some babies who are kind of damaged and are angry and are doing some bad things to good people. But most humans, guys, most of us, just want to freaking be okay, have a shot, get along. So if I got to be the old lady standing up for that, then I'm gonna. And don't you let anybody tell you that a civil war is imminent. You know what? And I'm just going to end with this. And I know this has been a bit of a rant. And, you know, quite frankly, I kind of don't care. Okay. If somebody needs to know the world in 7 seconds, they have detached from reality, because that is not the way it is. Guys, we've got to come out of this cycle of blame. We've got to come out of, we can hold people to account without blaming. There are a lot of really good people who, because of the way we have conditioned all Americans, have gotten sucked down the drain of some insidious agendas here. We've got to stop polarizing, and we must stop othering. Please, please, please stop othering, especially those of us on the left. I can't speak for those of you on the right. I'm not on the right. I'm not a right-wing voter. Those of us on the left, we're supposed to be the party of inclusion and love and harmony. But you know how many people on the left are just so heartbroken right now that they've been turned into these, they sound like the French Inquisition people. They sound like the Spanish Inquisition people, only for the left. Come on, man. Can we have some heartbreak without breaking ourselves? That's my question. Can you have heartbreak without breaking yourselves? Because that's what we are here to prove to the universe that we can do. We can endure heartbreak without breaking. We can feel the pain without enacting pain. We can hold to account without making someone a victim. Rachel says the adults in the room will be just us regular folks, not arbiters of culture, politician, influencers, or media agendas. You're right. And Tammy, I'm with you. Nobody wants the Spanish Inquisition. It's hard, guys. Have your opinions, but I'm telling you, when I came back into this country, I felt it. I felt what's trying to be imposed on us here. And it's insidious. And it's to everybody. It's to people on the right and the left. It's to everybody. So I'm going to do what I can in my own way to lead by example. I'm certainly no big fat leader. I'm not a political person. I'm a person on Facebook and some online sources with a small group of followers, which is fine. I'm just saying we must come out of this and wake up. We have to wake up and do it better. Or this whole thing with Donald Trump, this whole thing that's going to happen to our world economy, which, by the way, was something I was talking about way back. This whole thing is going to be for nothing. And we'll be cows with our heads in a trough because we didn't take the top view. Yes, you can hold people accountable without hating them. Yes, we can have justice without retribution. Yes, we can have balance and equality without you having to give up a piece of your balance and equality. People who are afraid of that, that's irrational, man. God. So that's what I'm here to say. And my messages are going to really lean in this direction. And if you want to see me as a milquetoast loser who doesn't understand where the peril in our country is, you are wrong. You are wrong. Not only do I understand the peril where our country is currently with our current political situation, I understand where the peril for our country and the world is if we do not correct this emotional, societal, sociological, and psychological quotient as a race of beings moving forward. So you think whatever you want about me. But I'm not going to stop standing in the gap for this because all of us need to step up to lead right now. Our leaders are failing us. We need to step up and tell people it's okay to be human. I may not agree with your vote, but can we all agree that this is a little crazy? You are not your brand. You are not your political party. You are not your sexual orientation, your sexual identity. You are not your skin color. That's just who you are this life. Do you know how many other lifetimes you've been somebody else? God, I swear to God, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. We've gotten so myopic and so tiny, and it is beneath us, America. It's beneath us. It's beneath all of us. I've gotten myopic and tiny at times. It is beneath me. We're better. We're stronger. We're loving. Stop trying to convert everybody to your opinion. Not going to work. Align with the heart. That's where we've got to align. Even though we're going to have some differences. Don't victimize others in your attempt to standardize. That's wrong. Okay? If you need to victimize other people so you feel like you have rights, something's wrong. Nobody needs to be a victim, including the people who have all the rights and are claiming to be the victim. Why do we need this much attention? Turn your heart and your strength to leading. Turn your thoughts and your efforts toward the elevation of perception. That's not pie in the sky, man. That's called being a grown-up. It's called being a goddamn grown-up. So let's do it, okay? If you need permission from somebody today, I'm absolutely nobody. I am nobody. Literally, I am nobody. But if you need permission, and me as a nobody is giving you permission today to be strong. Be strong in standing in the gap for a higher perspective. That is our highest octave. That is our way out of this pickle. If you need the permission, I give it to you. There you go. You got it. Your identity doesn't have to be your anger. Your identity doesn't have to be your rage. Your identity can be your strength of heart. I'm okay to have my heart broken and not be broken. I am okay to feel and not feel weak. I am okay to sense all of this that's going on and talk to you about it today. And I'm okay with a lot of you saying, fuck you, Danielle. You go, girl. You go, dude. You go, whomever. Because we are America. We are America. Our heart is America. And we must continue to shine for the world. Because the world mourns for us and they think that we've gone crazy and they know we all haven't. But let us shine. Let us shine. Be strong. Be strong enough not to get sucked into this. We can hold leaders to account in a way that the octave up here will be able to process so that we can learn and grow, okay? So that's what I'm coming on to say. And the reason I came on to say this today is because the message is so intense and it's so clear. There won't be Trump that sandbars our country if that's what's going to happen, and that's not imminent, by the way. It will be us giving up, laying down, crying, and dying inside of ourselves. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just not something this old gnarly bitch is gonna do. So, you keep loving fiercely and working for solutions that include everybody. That's all I have to say today. And if we're not going to do that, guys, the cattle trough people win. I'm going to keep doing it. Thank you for listening. I love each one of you. I even actually love people out there who can't stand me, and I have a lot of you. You write me letters and tell me what a piece of shit I am on a fairly regular basis. But I love you anyway, because I can see you past your wounds. Because somebody told you were a piece of shit. That's why you told me I'm one. I'm sorry somebody did that to you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that to you, man. You have a place at my table. Even if you hate my guts, I'm a damn good cook. So, there you go. I love you guys.